Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am very excited to share with you guys pretty much exactly how to prevent a binge from happening this week. There are so many things. There are so many things that I can share with you. I have selected a few really good tools and strategies, of course, that I'm going to share with you guys. And what I'm about to share with you guys, I want you guys to not get in this mindset of like, oh my gosh, now I need to do every single thing that Lorna said this week or else I'm a failure. I don't want you guys to feel like, if I don't do every single one of these things, then it's going to be a bad week. We're not going to get into the all or nothing mindset. Maybe you take one or two things out of this, and you go and implement. The most important thing is to do something. Okay, so whether you take one of these things that I'm going to share, maybe you choose a few of them, that is really going to support you. So, how to prevent a binge from happening this week. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to share with you is to have a morning routine. And I think people underestimate the value of a morning routine. And I'm not saying a morning routine in terms of like, okay, I get up at 5 a.m. and then I have coffee and then I drive to work. Like, yes, that's great that you have structure, but what I'm talking more specifically when I say like a morning routine, I am talking about, are you doing things in the morning that is actually prepping your mind? Are you actually doing things in the morning that is setting you up for success for the rest of the day? So I'm talking about things like gratitude, meditation, breath work, you time. Do you have you time in the morning? Do you have time where you can actually fill up your own cup? Do you have time in the mornings to slow down your nervous system? When you wake up in the morning and you're frantic and you get up 5 minutes before you have to leave and you're rushing throughout the door, you don't even have time for breakfast, you're taking that frantic energy into the day with you. And then when you have lunch and you're eating super fast, like that energy is still with you, right? So taking time for a morning routine, back in 2019, when I was on my healing journey to heal my relationship with food, honestly, this changed my life. I practiced gratitude. I wrote down every single morning, I wrote down like 3 things that I was grateful for. So small of an act, but it made the biggest difference. Like, what am I grateful for? I would meditate. I would do breath work. I would pull out my journal. You guys know I love my tea. I would make myself like a nice hot cup of tea. I would cuddle in like this warm blanket. And it was honestly just like this time for myself. And when you make time for yourself, you feel so good. Like, you literally feel like a badass because you are pouring into yourself. Okay? So that is really, really important. Choosing what works for you in terms of a morning routine. It could be different every single day. It could be the same every single day, but making time for you to fill up your own cup is going to be really important first thing in the morning, okay? The second thing, dedicate time each day to meditate. You guys, when I first heard about meditation, I literally was like, this is some woo-woo shit. I don't do this. Like, this is like so far out of my comfort zone. I'm like, I don't meditate. But meditation, when it comes to in relation to binge eating, meditation changes the size, the thickness, and the amount of folds in this area of your brain, your prefrontal cortex, which is literally responsible to helping you make more rational decisions. So it's not just like, oh, just meditate because it's like good for you. It actually really helps you to make more rational decisions. And when you are binging and you're impulsive and you're feeling out of control with food, you know what that state feels like. You're in autopilot, you're in an out-of-body experience, you don't even have time to think, right? It's just like eat, 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 like you're in that autopilot state. So when you practice meditation on a daily basis, on a regular basis, you are actually working in sync with your mind. It will really help you to become less impulsive and you're not so emotionally charged, right? Because you can have these like really good intentions of like, I'm gonna eat healthy this week, like I'm gonna, say no to my binges, whatever it is. But then the moment the urge comes on, right, you know that it feels like you have to give in. But the more that you practice meditation, the more you're going to be able to like actually slow down and make more rational decisions, not be so impulsive with the decisions that you're making, okay? Now, number 3 is to practice breath work. Now, breath work and meditation are not the same. And when I say breath work, I don't mean like deep breathing. That is still very beneficial, but I'm talking about breath work. So I'm actually a certified trauma-informed breathwork facilitator. I do this with my clients, and breath work is the best way to get out of your mind and into your body. When you're struggling with binge eating, emotional eating, overeating, you're up in here. You're up in your head. You are, should I eat this? Should I not eat this? Okay, what are the calories? Is this gonna make me fat? Am I gonna gain weight? Is this a good food? Is this, like, you're so up in your head. When you do breath work, you drop out of your busy, chaotic mind into your body. You can connect to your body, which is really, really important. So practicing breath work, especially when you're feeling that urge to binge. So when you feel that urge, you know what it's like? It's like, oh, it's here again. I just gotta give in. It's so strong, I just have to give in. But when you practice breath work, you get into your body. You regulate your nervous system. When you're in that impulsive state, when you feel the urge, you're in your fight or flight state. You're in this like chaotic energy, right? It's like, I gotta give in, I need to eat right now. But when you practice breath work, it creates a state change in your body. You down-regulate your nervous system, so you're less impulsive, you're more in charge of your body, like you actually feel like it's you, not like you're going through this out-of-body experience and it doesn't even feel like you. And this will really help to get your body in more of like a parasympathetic rest and digest state, so you're not so like impulsive, okay? Number four is to eat regularly throughout the day. Now, obviously, all of you guys know this, but are you actually doing it? Because sometimes it could be subconscious. Like you've got back-to-back meetings and then before you know it, you're like, I literally haven't eaten in like 5 hours, right? And then after 5 hours, of course you're ravenous. Of course you're starving. It's not even like you're hungry. You're like, I'm literally gonna eat my freaking arm off. Like, I'm so hungry. And in those moments when you get so hungry, all logic goes out the window. All of your good intentions goes out the window. And it's just like, I'm desperate for food. Like, I just need food right now. So this is when you go for what's quick, what's easy. You're not gonna take time to go cook a healthy meal when you're so hungry, right? So when you're eating regularly throughout the day, that is gonna prevent you from getting ravenous and from overeating and binging, right? Anybody who waits too long to eat is gonna overeat. So eating regularly throughout the day, having snacks with you, have meals prepped for you, right? Even if you have back-to-back meetings, how can you quickly have a snack? Like almonds, I love like almonds and nuts because they're very high in protein, very high in fat. They keep you full and satiated for a longer period of time and they're super easy to eat like in between, work meetings or whatever it is, okay? Number five is to allow yourself to eat what you want. This is the most terrifying thing for so many people. And I'm not saying like go to the grocery store and buy all of the junk food and allow yourself to eat all the junk. Not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you want for breakfast oatmeal, but then there's a little voice inside of your mind that's like, oh, but that has too many carbs. Maybe you should have eggs because, you got to eat more protein. That's where things get a little wonky. What do you actually want? Do you want oatmeal for breakfast or do you want the eggs? Or are you just having the eggs because you feel like you should be eating that? Do you actually want to have a salad when you go out to eat this week or for dinner? Or are you just having it because you feel like you need to and you should? There is a very big difference. And ironically, when you allow yourself to eat the foods that you actually want, there is literally no desire to binge because you're like, I wanted this. But how often, let me know if you can resonate with this, how often do you want something and you're like, I shouldn't have it? So then you go for maybe a healthier option or you go for a different option and then all you're thinking about is the food that you actually want, right? You're like, I really want ice cream. Oh, ice cream sounds so good right now, but I shouldn't. I shouldn't because it's the start of a week. I got to do good this week. I shouldn't have ice cream. I can push through. I'm just going to have grapes. And then you have the grapes and you're still thinking about the ice cream. And then oftentimes you not only had the grapes, but now you're having the ice cream anyways, right? So it's like, if you just allowed yourself to have what you want, you're gonna be so much more satisfied. Now, obviously the first few times that you actually allow yourself to have what it is that you want, like when you allow yourself to have the ice cream for the first few times, yeah, it might be like, oh my gosh, I'm spiraling out of control, but that's because you've been so deprived for so long, right? Of course, if you haven't had ice cream in a really long time, you're probably gonna overeat or you're probably gonna have a lot of it. You're just enjoying it, but it won't be that way forever. And this is where it really starts. So allowing yourself to eat what it is that you want. Stop focusing on this is a good food, this is a bad food, this is low in calorie, this is high in calorie. What do you actually want to eat? Okay. Okay, number 6. Number 6 is to sit down at the table to eat. How often are so many people, again, standing up in front of the kitchen? When I used to binge, it was always I would be standing up, I'd be eating straight from the bag or the box or whatever I was eating, whether I was binging on cashews or the almond butter, straight from the jar, grab a tablespoon, start digging your way in, and there is no way you can actually connect to your body when you're standing up, you're eating super fast, you're not even in tune with your body, you're completely disconnected from your body. When you actually sit down, you're grounded, right? You're a lot more present. You're not just eating straight out of the bag, you're making it a thing. When you go out for dinner, you sit down, right? It's an experience, so to speak. So that is a really good way to prevent a binge this week is actually sit down. Don't be standing up. Don't be eating straight from the bag or the container. Sit down to enjoy your meal so you can actually be present, okay? Number 7 is to redirect diet culture thoughts. So often, I talked about, wanting oatmeal for breakfast. So often, the little diet culture voice comes in and it's that's too high in calorie. Are you sure you want that? Are you going to eat all of that? That's too high in calories. But you have to remind yourself that you're doing things differently. When you're healing your relationship with food, you're not going to do the same things that you did when you were on a diet. So when those diet culture thoughts come in, you're bad for eating this, you should feel guilty, you're such a failure for actually eating what it is that you want, remind those thoughts to shut up. You don't belong here. And remind yourself, I'm allowed to eat this food. I am allowed to enjoy my meals. I don't have to feel guilty. I am not a failure. You have to remind yourself because diet culture thoughts are sneaky. They can be super loud. and they can take over. They've been ingrained in your brain for so many years. So just remind those thoughts like, hey, you don't belong here. I am not doing anything wrong by enjoying chocolate. I am not doing anything wrong with having a meal without vegetables. It is okay. It is okay. Okay? Number 8. Number 8 is to be more decisive with your food choices. How often are you taking hours to decide what to eat? And a lot of the times you take a long time to decide what to eat because you don't want to make the wrong decision. I'll never forget, like, when I would want a snack, I'm like, I don't know what I feel like. Let me ask my husband. Let me ask my mom, what should I eat? And they're like, what do you feel like? And I'm like, I don't know. But the reason you don't know what you feel like eating often is because, number one, you're a little bit disconnected from your body because of the guilt, the shame, the diet culture thoughts, but also you take a long time to make a decision about what to eat because you are fearful and making the wrong decision. What if I have oatmeal for breakfast, but then I really wanted toast? What if I order the burger at the restaurant, but then I feel so guilty? What if I order the salad at the restaurant, but then I really wanted the burger, right? You're so scared to make a wrong decision. But the best decisions that you can make is just like the ones that you can make the quickest. So what do you want? You're gonna learn. This is how you learn from your body. You make a decision. How did that taste? Did I like it? Was it satisfying? Did it taste good? You're only gonna get more connected to your body the more decisive you are with your food choices, okay? All right, we're like speeding through this. We're speeding through this. Hopefully you guys are finding this super helpful. Okay, number 9. Number 9 in terms of helping you prevent a binge this week. Number 9 is to have meals prepped. And I'm not talking about like, you need to know what you're having for breakfast on Monday, lunch on Monday, and dinner on Monday. And then on Thursday, you need to know all the snacks that you're having. I'm not talking about that because that's going to stress you out. What I'm talking about when I say have meals prepped, I mean like, do you have food in the fridge? Do you have food cooked? Because again, going back, like I said, if you don't have meals cooked, it's really easy to like go for what's quick and what's easy. And although there's nothing wrong with that, and sometimes you have to because you're just so busy, but I know for like myself, whenever I didn't have meals prepped, that's when it's really easy to go for the foods that just don't make you feel good. Like those foods that are quick, simple, and easy usually don't make you feel the best because they don't have a lot of, fiber and protein and nutrients. And it's okay, again, to have those foods, but when you have meals prepped, it's going to allow you to feel better. It's going to allow you to actually save so much time throughout the week. And when you have meals prepped and you're eating regularly, that can prevent those binge urges from arising. So have meals prepped. This is not about being rigid. This is not about planning every single meal that you're going to have for the rest of the week. Just make sure that you have food on hand so you can eat regularly to prevent getting ravenous and be able to fuel your body adequately. Okay? Number 10 is to up-level your satisfaction. Up-level your satisfaction. So oftentimes, again, I talked about this a little bit, but oftentimes it's like, I really want peanut butter. Like, oh my gosh, like on my oats or in my yogurt, peanut butter would be so good. Or with my banana or with my apple, peanut butter would be so good. But the calories, but it's too high in fat, but it's going to go over my macros. So then you prevent yourself from actually enjoying the meal, the snack. If you just had an apple by itself, you're like, oh, that wasn't that good. It would have been so much better if I had the peanut butter. So up level your satisfaction. What do you want? Maybe this is like adding oil. And by the way, you guys, oil, people are so scared to eat oil, and I was too. Like, I remember telling my mom, like, no cooking with oil. Like, if there was food with oil in it, I'd be so pissed off. I wouldn't eat it. I was terrified. But oils, like extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, those are the best. They're the best healthy fats. You don't have to fear them. They're so good for your body, especially for your hormones, for your health. So stop focusing on like, oh, this is too high in calories, and actually focus on up-leveling the satisfaction of your meals. The more satisfied you are, the less likely you're gonna binge. Because if you're so satisfied, you don't need more food. You go up for seconds, you want something sweet after your meal when your meal wasn't that good. Like if you just had a meal that you like threw together and you're like, oh, this is healthy, I should eat this. You might be full afterwards, but you're like, I'm not satisfied. What else can I eat? So you go into the cupboards, you get seconds. And again, there's nothing wrong with getting seconds, but you're like, I'm full. But you're longing for that satisfaction. So up-level your satisfaction, and that will reduce the need to binge because check mark, I'm satisfied, okay? Number 11 is to give yourself even more grace, compassion, and self-love this week. Even when you don't love what you see in the mirror, even after a binge, I know it's the easiest thing to want to beat yourself up, but the way that you become free from binge eating, the way to heal is not through self-beat up. It's actually through self-compassion, kindness, taking care of yourself. What does your body need right now? No one's motivated after beating themselves up. You just feel worse. So give yourself compassion, give yourself gratitude, give yourself just extra love this week. How can you be kinder to yourself? Pat yourself on the back. Remind yourself you're doing a good job. Healing your relationship with food has ups and it has downs, and it's not easy. So don't make it harder on yourself by beating yourself up. Make it easier on yourself by giving yourself more self-love and more self-compassion. Okay? All right. Number 12 is to ditch all scales. And this might freak you out. You're like, Lorna, I weigh myself every day. Lorna, I weigh my food to a T every single day. I want you to ditch all scales this week. And again, this doesn't mean like you have to ditch all scales for like the rest of the year. I really want you to try this out for this week, right? You know when you step on the scale and the number on the scale goes up, it's like the worst day of your life, right? And that doesn't make you feel good, right? It just makes you feel bad. So stop weighing yourself, stop weighing your food. Because also when you're weighing your food, you're just thinking about food all day long. You're thinking about food more. You're weighing and you're tracking and you're measuring everything. When you're weighing yourself, it's like, oh, it's a good day if the number on the scale went down, and I'm worthy and I'm loved if the number on the scale went down, but you are worthy right now. You are loved right now. You don't have to be getting that validation through the number on the scale. Focus on how you feel. And even if it is really, really scary, this is going to be what you need to do in the long run. So of course you can take it step by step. Maybe you even reduce the amount of times that you're weighing yourself. You reduce, maybe you don't track every single one of your meals. Like how can you release a little bit of that tight grip of control? Because that's going to be really, really supportive for you. Okay. Number 13 is to prioritize your own needs. Often when you are binging, a lot of the times it's like, oh, I had a really stressful day at work. Or it's like we can blame other like circumstances outside of ourselves. But what are you doing to meet your own needs? When you're tired, are you resting? When you are so like overfilled with tasks, are you being a people pleaser and saying yes to 9 million things, or do you have boundaries? Are you saying no to things? Are you resting when you're tired? Are you eating when you're hungry? These are all different ways to meet your own needs. A lot of the times it's like you're hungry for an extra snack and you're like, oh, but I shouldn't be hungry. Yesterday I only had 1 snack, but today I feel like having 2. I shouldn't. That's not you listening to your body. That's not you meeting your needs. Meeting your needs means like, this is a signal from my body. I'm going to listen to it. How often do you like feel this urge to go to the bathroom and you never question, well, I went to the bathroom 5 times yesterday and this time I'm going 7 times, so that's way too much. I should probably not go to the bathroom. You don't think that way. You're like, clearly I have to go. It's a no-brainer. But when you're like extra hungry or you want an extra snack, you start overthinking. But this is just a sign from your body. So what are your needs and are you meeting them? Are you resting when you're tired? Are you eating when you're hungry? Are you setting those boundaries when you're overcommitted? Are you saying no to things that you literally just can't commit to? You have to meet your own needs before you can even meet any other people's needs. And this can spiral into a binge because when you're overcommitted, you're not listening to your body when you want an extra snack. Of course, you're going to snap and it's going to turn into a binge. Okay? Few more. Number 14. Totally underrated. Get at least 7 hours of sleep. People are like, sleep isn't sexy. Like, who cares about sleep? But literally sleep is the thing that impacts your hunger hormones. It impacts your cravings. It impacts your mood. I know for myself, when I don't get enough sleep, I'm like cranky. I'm extra tired. And when people are tired, what do? You go to turn to food. You're like, I need energy. And it's almost like this justification of like, well, I'm eating to help me stay awake, right? And you don't need more food. You need to go to sleep. Like, you need to prioritize sleep, but nobody wants to do that, right? So getting at least 7 hours of sleep each night is so foundational to, like I said, reducing those crazy cravings, helping you become less impulsive. Like, you're going to notice when you don't have a good night's sleep or you're sleeping 5 hours a night or 4 hours a night or something crazy like that, the next day you're going to be craving more sweets. You're going to be craving more like highly palatable, sugary foods. Nothing's going to really satisfy you because you're just low in energy and you really need that, like, you feel like you need that extra fuel. So prioritize getting sleep. It's going to help hunger. It's going to stabilize your hunger hormones, and it's also going to help you be in a better mood. Okay? The last thing that I want to say to prevent a binge this week is to have fun. When you're healing your relationship with food, oftentimes it's like you're so serious. It's like, I can't mess up. I can't fail this week. Like, I have to be so perfect. But you want to enjoy the journey because it's going to take time for you to heal your relationship with food. It's not just about the end destination of like, how do I become binge free tomorrow? It's going to take time. So might as well enjoy it. How can you have fun? How can you have fun in your journey when you are making your meals more satisfying? You're having a morning routine and you wake up and you're so excited to take care of yourself. How can you look forward to, your gratitude practice or your meditation practice or whatever it is? Like, how can you make this journey more fun? In 2019, like when I was on my journey, yes, there were times where it was really tough, but there were moments where I just had fun with it. Like, I even made cue cards of like different things I wanted to remind myself of when I was on my healing journey. I had that time for myself in the morning. Like I said, I did my morning routine, like basically every single morning. I was so committed to that. I look forward to journaling and breath work and meditation. Like, I wanted to have fun, and I want you to have fun as well too. Know that you don't have to do all of these things. Like I said, you definitely don't need to be doing all these things this week, but these are just a few ideas, and then you can take what resonates with you. Maybe you're like, okay, I'm going to start doing a morning routine. Or maybe you're like, okay, I definitely need to up level my satisfaction. Or maybe you're like, I'm going to try breath work, right? Or whatever it is, right? Somebody actually just purchased my breath work bundle over the weekend. And she's like, I want to get into breath work. And this is literally so foundational for becoming less impulsive with food, helping you better cope with your emotions without turning to food, becoming less impulsive. So breath work is huge. So choose maybe a few things that you can do this week. Do not feel like you need to do all 15 of these. Do not feel like I need to be perfect or I failed. It's not about that. If you just take a few things out of what I shared today, you can really prevent yourself from having a binge. And obviously, I don't want to just help you have a binge-free week. I want to help you have a binge-free life, okay? Like, let's be honest. But we have to start somewhere. We have to start somewhere. So start here. Focus on this week. Focus on this week. Be intentional. Utilize these tools. Utilize these strategies. It's going to be really, really supportive. Okay? You're doing amazing. You're here listening to this. So clearly you are committed to your relationship with food. You're committed to being better for yourself. So just pat yourself on the back and don't be so hard on yourself. All right? So that is what I wanted to share with you guys today for preventing a binge from happening this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you tried anything and, it was super helpful for you. I'd love to kind of hear from you guys. So thank you so much for being here and listening. I will see you guys soon. Bye.